question comes from Butch Fagan. Fagan. I'm sure you get that all the time. Butch Fagan. Explain your day job. Corn? 3 question marks. Corn emoji? Yes, Butch. Corn. This is by far the question I get asked the most. What do I do? Yes, I work for a company called Master's Choice, seed corn company specifically for livestock nutrition, so dairy cows. And I help run the digital content, so the YouTube channel. youtube.com/masterschoice if you guys are interested in agriculture content. We are doing a good job over there. And yeah, I work from home. Company is based in Anna, Illinois. So I travel down there a few times a month and meet with the team. And then I also meet different employees out in the field across the country and help create content around their jobs. Thanks for the question, Butch. You are not alone in asking that, and it was a long overdue question to answer. Hopefully that clears things up for you. Second question is from Brian Vlasic. He said, how has it been balancing your family time, real job, and staying committed to making awesome high-end vlogs? Yes, I read that because you called my vlogs awesome and high-end. Thank you, Brian. In all seriousness, though, I haven't really done a very good job of balancing it. I brought this idea to my wife and said, look, this is going to happen. I want to do this. And she said, okay. Well, what's that going to look like? I know it's going to make, I know you're going to be busy. Are you going to be able to do that because you're kind of a perfectionist? And I don't know that you could let go of a video after 24 hours. And she asked all the right questions. But when we left sort of the conversation, we were sort of on the same page that this was going to happen for 30 days. It hasn't been as balanced as it probably should be. But we also have an end date in mind. If I were to go to her right now and tell her that I'm just going to keep going past 30 days, she would say, okay, well, some things need to change. We need to reprioritize some stuff and make sure that everything's getting accomplished, because she's definitely picked up the slack a little bit for me as I've been pursuing these videos. I'm drinking coffee and a healthy green thing. My neighbor Chris asked if there was footage of how many times I've taken a drink on camera, and this is basically epitomizes that conversation. Wake up juice, healthy juice. Brian, I have not done a good job of balancing it. It hasn't been terrible, but if I were to keep going, things would have to change. We're all on the same team, we're all on the same page, and we're trying to accomplish this goal, and the end is in sight. On top of that question, Matt Hoffman asked, what happens after day 30? That's a very good question, Matt. I know one thing that will happen. I won't make a video. I will definitely take a break just to evaluate the success of it or how it went, if I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I think one of the biggest things that I learned the other day when I was on a podcast was, he asked me if I'd gotten better. And the answer to that question is kind of no. Like, I haven't got better technically. I mean, there's some like file management stuff that I've gotten pretty proficient at. Editing, obviously, I've gotten pretty good at. Storytelling, I've gotten pretty good at. And I think that's sort of the biggest thing. The creativity and having to tell a story every single day is what I've gotten better at. What I haven't gotten better at is the camera stuff, right? Sort of the cinematography, sort of caring about every shot, making sure everything is really locked in and looks nice, because you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants when you're making videos on the daily. So that might be an interesting project where maybe I make 2 videos in the month, but they're gonna be beautiful, and every time I turn on the camera and hit record, it's going to matter, and that might maybe push me on the technical camera side of things. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'll definitely do another 30-day project. I'm just going to take a little time. What gear do you shoot your vlogs on? I have all of the gear. I work for Master's Choice. They are awesome and encourage me to use my gear outside of the job. So Main shooter is Panasonic GH5. That's what I'm shooting on right now with a 30 prime lens and a Rode, and they do a terrible job of naming, but it's like the Video Pro Plus Triple Platinum Gold Edition Rode mic. I think that might actually be right. I also have a Sony RX100 that I use a lot as well if I'm trying to get shots and I don't want everyone to see my big camera. Use the iPhone sometimes. I got all kinds of lenses, and I got a Mavic Pro drone. So definitely not one of those you can do it with whatever. I do believe that, but I got all the toys, and I'm very grateful for that. How about Anson said, what do you plan on doing with all the golf balls? I have no idea, Anson. Maybe my girls will sell them on the golf course, or I honestly have no idea what I'm going to do with all the golf balls. I pull out all the good ones and I use them. The rest, I don't know. They're just collecting. So, TBD on that one. And he said, but more importantly, how do you choose your music? This will be my rant for the day. Music matters a lot, I think, in YouTube content, and when you're making these sort of fun and sort of, I don't know, lower production, higher narrative stories. I think music matters a lot, and I feel like a lot of people are putting a lot of time into fancy transitions and maybe forgetting that the way their music moves in and out of a segment really, really matters to me. I think when I'm lazy with how my music transitions and I just fade it out or just cut it off, that it's jarring to the audience, whether they know it or not. And so I try really hard to not let that happen. And the way I do that is I use Epidemic Sound, which is a subscription-based music platform. And I think MusicBed does this too. But they have the stems to download. So you hear the song, you like the song, and if you go download the stems, then you individually can download the instruments, the melody, the bass, and the drums. And so then basically when you drop those into your sequence, you can really be intentional about how things build and how things sort of taper off. And so for me, if I'm moving from a beautiful, drone segment or something and coming back to the office for a talking head piece like this, then I may kill the instruments and the melody, but allow the bass and the beat to keep going so that it's not jarring to the audience and there's still some sort of noise underneath, and it doesn't, and then it might slowly fade off. Or if I move from this segment out to another location, then maybe that beat keeps going and then I bring the melody and the instruments back in. But it's always intentional. It's always something that I obsess over personally. And yeah, I just really try not to be lazy in that regard, because I think it matters almost more than sort of the visual transition. Sometimes too, there's these like special moments that happen on accident. I call them those happy accidents, where like the music will line up with a visual and there'll be this sort of magic moment where you're like, ooh, that's good. I will even sometimes, if it makes sense, like let that stay, let that visual stay with that crazy music moment, and then work backwards this way and forwards this way to make the music make sense so that that moment can happen. Sometimes you can't really plan for that magic and you're just kind of editing and it happens, but then, it takes a lot of work to go backwards and forward to make that sort of be able to stay there. So, yes, to answer your question, that's how I choose it, through Epidemic, but I definitely use the stems, and I absolutely obsess with how the music transitions in and transitions out of different segments. Good question. It's something that's been on my mind lately. I'm glad I got to answer it. Lastly, the Wagoneer. I've got a lot of questions about the Wagoneer. So the Wagoneer is gone. It is at the shop. This project has started. I'm so pumped about this. I'm doing the work down in Anna, Illinois, and I'm doing the work at a place called Kurt's Classics, and I'm really, really glad that I'm doing the work there. I've had a lot of good conversations with Kurt. He's worked on 4 or 5 different Wagoneers. The pictures he's shown, they're beautiful. He knows what he's doing, and he's allowing me to be involved in the process, which is exactly what I wanted to do. I'm hoping to be able to go down there, take different videos through the progress of this whole thing. And I'll definitely be bringing you guys along for that whole project. It's been awesome to sort of pick this thing up off down in Nashville and bring it and film that and document that and then have it here, and then I'll be able to document all of the stages of rebuilding this thing. So yeah, the Wagoneer project is off and running and should be done hopefully in the next few months if we're lucky. All right. That's it. Guys, I think I got like computer vision syndrome or like screen fatigue. I did some self-diagnosing, but had some really crazy stuff going on with my eyes and some weird like vertigo type dizziness stuff. I guess I kind of forgot that my day job is editing videos, and now my night time is editing videos, and I'm just really looking at the screen a lot. So, wanted to knock this Q&A out pretty quick, and then maybe just get away from the computer screen for a little bit. But yeah, if you guys got any, like, are there classes? Or is there anything that people do? Because I'm not the only one that looks at the computer screen all day. But man, it was like a little freaky. If you know of anything, hit me up in the comments. All right, that's it. See you tomorrow.